I'm going to be telling you about our Pradiance Sunstick today. So Pradiance Sunstick is an SPF 30, and an SPF refers to the UVB that it filters. So sun protection factor 30 means that if you burn normally without sunscreen on after 10 minutes, if you have a sun protection factor 30 on your skin, you will be able to spend 30 times 10 in the sun before you get burnt like that before. Obviously, it depends on the amount of sunscreen that you apply. So it's really important to be generous with your application. You don't want too thin a layer because then you will be taking the sun protection down. So it might work as an SPF 20, for example. So when they're doing tests in, for example, the Medunsa laboratories, which are in South Africa and Pretoria, they will liberally apply the sunscreen in a way that's normal, so to speak, and then they put under certain lamps, and people are the test people for it. So it is important to be generous in your application. The Sunstick is you push it up from the base and then apply it onto the face or body. You can rub it on afterwards if you like. Some people do want that lovely thick layer, especially, for example, somebody that spends a lot of time in the sun, like a surfer or maybe a golfer. Really nice product to put in a child's school bag, for example, so they can touch up their ears and nose and neck in the middle of the day. A couple of things about it is that it's reef safe, so fine to use in seawater or a river, for example. It won't destroy the life that is in the water. Zinc oxide is something that is found in the Earth's surface. It is completely a sustainable ingredient and it does not harm the body. The zinc oxide particles are non-nano, which means they're not tiny. So they can't be absorbed into the body. So they sit on the surface, which refracts the sun's rays away. So it doesn't work like a synthetic chemical sunscreen that allows the sun in, and then there's a chemical reaction in the skin. This sits very superficially on the skin. Obviously it gets absorbed into the epidermis, and it works in a refractive way. So your zinc oxide works where it refracts the sun's rays. There are also beneficial plant ingredients in here that nurture the skin and work like antioxidants, protecting you from any free radical damage as well. So this really is a very beneficial sunstick to use. It's broad spectrum, so it filters both UVB and UVA. UVC is sorted out by the ozone layer, so we don't have UVC coming into our atmosphere, but UVB burns you and makes you go brown, and UVA goes a little bit deeper into the skin, and this causes long-term skin damage, and it is mainly responsible for skin cancer. So it's really important to use a sun product that is broad spectrum, that filters both UVA and UVB, which zinc oxide has got long-term, its efficacy stays on the skin for a long period of time, dealing with both UVA and UVB. So it is a really very resilient and beneficial sunscreen element to have. So the zinc oxide is really beneficial for that. So for a surfer, obviously just make sure that you put a more generous application on. It is water resistant for about 40 minutes, but that is with a very generous application. If you've towel dried your skin, you need to reapply, obviously, but if it is just water coming into contact with your skin, just make sure you've done a nice thick application.